Back here at the garage again, man. Another weekend. See how far I can get. I guess today we're going to attempt to go ahead and pull this motor out, and then once we do that I can take off the head and trans and a couple of the pieces that I still need, and then let my buddy experiment with this B20 block and see how long it'll take before it actually blows up. Alright guys, but, yep. So it's a whole nother weekend. Last weekend I was over here, I started filming to show you guys. I was going to pull the whole motor assembly out, drivetrain. I kind of got wrapped up in it, and I just kept going because I was like, I don't want to slow down. So once I got to a point where the motor and stuff was getting ready to come out, only thing I had really left was the axles. Passenger side obviously is super easy. You just use like a screwdriver or a little pry bar and you can pop it out of the trans. The driver's side I had a problem with. First time I ever pulled axles out, so this is, like I said, this is a whole new experience for me. So I'm like, man, well, I want to come out. I'm using little pry bars. My buddy wasn't here. I asked him, and he said sometimes you can just tap it with like a hammer. I tried that. I couldn't get it. So when he got here, he whacked on. He said, you know what, just pull the half shaft bolts out, and we'll just, get it out that way. So I just removed the half shaft, got that out, and then we kind of just put it on the ground, and then he just went ahead and smacked it a few times and was able to get it out. I was thinking about maybe leaving it in the half shaft because, hey, it's got to go back in anyways. But also I was like, you know what, I might go with some like insane shaft, like 500 horsepower axles. So I'm not sure yet. I don't want to get rid of them. I'm going to keep them, and then I'll just figure out from there where I'm going to go. Okay, so now obviously we're at a point now that the drivetrain is out. Obviously I'm still going to keep the transmission. It definitely needs some work inside, some new bearings and stuff. I don't know exactly what my full plans are with it, but for now I'm definitely keeping the trans. Obviously it'd be nicer to have a better transmission, but that's what I got for now. The head, definitely keeping. I paid a lot of money to get, internals, springs, retainers, stage 2 cams, and as well as for air valves. But I'm thinking about doing a mild like port job on it. I might step it up to like 1mm oversized valves on the intake and the exhaust. The springs and retainers will be still decent. I might step up and just get some new keepers and bronze valve guides. And I've also been really considering getting away from the Brian Crowder stage 2 turbo cams and just going with the all motor 404 Crowders. It's got more of a choppy idle, and I've seen a couple guys using turbo cars and using them and still making great power. So there's no reason why it's not going to work, even though it's really for an NA setup. So at some point, I don't know how far I'm going to get today or what all I'm really going to get involved in right now. It is kind of late. It's Sunday, but I obviously the trans has to come off. And the head has to come off, and there's a few other parts that obviously that I want to take off, like alternator bracket and the alternator, water pipe and the housing for the thermostat. That's pretty much it. So my buddy, you guys check his stuff out. It's Shelton Built Media. I did post a video before with his channel that he had just started. Obviously now it's winter, it's really going to be hard, but what he would like to do, well, I'm going to give him the B20B block, and then it's kind of going to be up to him whether he's going to put another non-VTEC head on it or go VTEC. It's going to be up to him, but I think he wants to kind of document it and do some videos on it, so I'm going to try to help him with that when he gets to that point, and just basically push that motor as far as he can and try to get at least a 1099 pass out of this stock B20B. So at least it's going to be donated and going somewhere and getting used. But like I told him, I said there are some few things, obviously like my bolts and my crank bolt, the tensioner bolt. That's all ARP stuff. The post mount with the bolts I need to take. Probably take the crank pulley off. I'm not really sure. We'll discuss that. But basically, it works with all of that. I just be able to keep the car in here and have the head pulled off, y'all. Was checking out this number 2 cylinder that has the different compression. It's kind of hard to see in here, but like my buddy was saying, it's weird because it looks like it was almost burning, or like too rich according to the cylinder. But then when you look at the head and look at that, it looks like it was kind of leaning out because it's real, has that white, like chalky look to it, which is really crazy. But now that I think about it, I think when I noticed it had the lower compression and I said something to him, I want to say that I think when I said that to him, he was like, well, I can add a little bit more fuel to that cylinder, and maybe that's why it gives that look, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and what I did was, I don't really have a tray or anything, so what I did was I bought this little thing here to either put the rocker arms in, and then some ice trays, so that way I can kind of organize this stuff and kind of put it back, because I didn't want to separate anything unless I knew where, I like to put everything back where it went. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and pull off all of these rocker arms and lay them down, because I'm going to leave the ARP studs and stuff on here. I have all the washers, and for some reason, while we were chatting and I took it off, I'm missing 2 of the nuts. I have no idea where the hell they went, where I sat them, or what. When I was taking everything apart, I had a rag like this laying on the ground. I was putting everything into it because I was taking everything off of the magnet, and lo and behold, boom, the shit's gone. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, see if I can find it, and then after that, I'm going to start disassembling it a little more. I need to take the water tube off, and then just a bunch of other little parts that I might possibly need. So I took off the ARP bolt for the crank. I'm leaving the water pump. We're leaving the oil pump. We're going to leave this crank pulley to see if he wants to use it. I'm going to leave the tensioner. I gave him the Gates Racing timing belt in case he decides to stay 9 VTEC or slap a VTEC head on it. But I do need, I believe, these little like little pin things or whatever they're called, the placements for the tensioner, the one here and the one for the spring. So I do need to get those because I'm not sure if my block has them or not. And also a few other parts that I know I am missing or don't have on my block. So I'm definitely going to have to take that stuff off. And then, yeah, I mean, like I said before, I'm going to leave the clutch and stuff on it. So possibly today I might go ahead and pop the trans off. But yeah, speaking of today, it is actually another day again. It's a whole nother weekend. Every time I get involved and I start working, I just don't think about the filming process, and I just want to get the stuff done and get it stripped as much as I can. So, but yeah, I'm just, every weekend I'm coming over here and doing whatever little bit that I can. But that's on today's agenda, is try to find where those 2 nuts went. If I can't, not a big deal. And I'll just go ahead and start taking the water pipe off and thermostat housing, and then pop this trans off, take the bolts out and slide her on off. So I'll get back to y'all when I get to that point. But yep, that's where we are now. Yep, so pulled the trans off, took the water pipe off. That's really all I needed to take off of the motor. And then obviously there's little parts for the tensioner to mount it, and for the spring. So I got the trans off, went ahead and put the trans up here in the engine bay for now. I do need to get new bearings and stuff for it, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave that there for now until I order the kit and figure out what I want to do as far as keep it an LS, or do I upgrade, or do I upgrade the internals that are in this? Do I go GSR? What I have no idea. But for now, I'm just going to put it in there. I went ahead and took the driver's seat out, the Kirky Racing seat, because I just had it, let me show you, in the OEM brackets, and it really wasn't mounted in properly. This seat, I believe, is either a 17-inch for the hip or 17 and a half, but either way, I will tell you that it's a little too wide to fit in here on the OEM ones, because one will be straight on, and like the driver, closer to the driver's side door, it actually had like a lean out. So obviously it was like, trying to come in instead of being like flush. So the seat was obviously too wide. So if it was probably like a 16-inch wide 16 or 15, you'll be perfect to fit your OEM rails. Obviously you got to drill holes into the seat to mount it, but that is one way of doing it if that's your plan. Or I'm sure you could figure it out and you know, run some type of spacers or something. I just didn't really care to do it or whatever, you know, because just the way it was like, you know, it was just too far out. I was trying to, you know, dip it in. So I don't know. Actually, you know, the thing about spacer wouldn't work. It would be if it was too short. So yeah, the best way to do it, honestly, for me, I'm just going to get the correct mounting bracket that goes to the floor. And then I have the ones that are like little L, like 90-degree brackets that go from there to whatever's mounted on the floor. That way I can figure out how far I want the seat back and do all the measurements and then put it on there the way that I want it. So that's what I'm probably going to end up just doing. Obviously this car is going to be sitting for a while, but so I got the head in there. I put the axles back there and my cams are back there. Like I said before, I want to go with the 404s, so I'm going to probably get the head done. Right now, obviously, I'm still waiting for my block to come back. Got the rocker arms laid in there on this little thing I got from the dollar store. It works perfect. As far as the ice trays, I might keep them, and when I take the valves out and springs, maybe put them in there. And that way I have an idea on as far as, you know, hey, this is where everything went, this is where it came off of. But as far as that's as far as I got. It's been 3 weekends and only coming over here for one day every week. So